The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
डिस्क्लेमर, मेरी आप सबसे गुजारिश है, ये वीडियो सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए। मेरी वीडियो का मकसद सिर्फ सोसाइटी में गंदगी फैलाने वालों को साफ करना है, तो लिहाजा इस वीडियो को अपने दिल के फेफड़ों पे मत लेना। ज्यादा तबीयत खराब हो तो किसी अच्छे डॉक्टर के पास जाकर अपना इलाज करवा लेना।
Hold up, hashtag heels for life. Wanna welcome everybody, yeah, we gotta get it hype. Hey, every week talking wrestling, we get into it. Current events, even guests that we're interviewing. Hosted by Chris, Kid USA, and Nappy Boy. Shout out to Ziggy, put the smack down, you can't ignore. The best you gon' find anywhere online. Tell the competition they about to get clothesline. Hold up, hashtag heels for life. Let's go.
Welcome everyone to hashtag Heels for Life Wrestling Podcast. This is a special episode for our subscribers on YouTube. So just a little announcement. All right. So as we getting closer to the 200th episode of hashtag Heels for Life, that will be coming in about, I think, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks, I believe. We're going to be slowly going over to YouTube for good. I'm just not happy with the algorithms on Facebook. I'm not digging it at all. So we're going to slowly progress over to YouTube indefinitely. We will be doing like clips or whatever on Facebook, but yes, indefinitely we will be going to YouTube. So Mr. T.O., hi, and what is this? What is this over here? What's going over there?
Look at that.
Boom or whatever. I mean,
Real,
I know that's a retro shirt. I get it.
Realest guy in the room. How you doing?
Okay. So that's Mr. DJ Red Flags, my co-host for today. So today, y'all, we are going to be talking about something that needs to be talked about, which is this right here, the history of the cash-in Money in the Bank. So we're going to just dissect this real quick. So if you guys will follow along with me, we're going to kind of break down the history of the cash-in. So because we don't have a lot of time today, we're going to do part 1, which is the first 15, and then we're going to do part 2 maybe later on tonight or tomorrow. But if you guys missed like part 1, you can always go back to YouTube and look at it. Part 2, like I said, that'll be we will announce that either later on tonight or tomorrow, so don't worry. All right, so let's kind of give a backstory of the cash-in, or the Money in the Bank, if you will. So Money in the Bank was actually the branch out of Chris Jericho, the current Ring of Honor champion. It's funny because here's a little fact for you guys. We have had over 30 Money in the Banks, and Chris Jericho did not win one of them.
And that's funny because if you look at the structure of AEW, all the guys get it first. So you would think that, hey, no, I brought you this new idea. You know what I mean? It's only right that I should get it first, not in Jericho. And that there tells you Jericho's mindset. He could have easily cried about it. Finish off, I brought you. And so, no, we gotta give. Once again, we're gonna have to do a show about Jericho. Jericho needs his own show.
That's very much true. Yes, because like Chris Jericho did a lot of historic things, but it's like he's not getting any play, any shine, just like the indie scene that we're going to be talking about this weekend. That there's a lot of things that's be going on in the wrestling industry. A lot of people don't get a lot of shine for, no acknowledgement whatsoever. It's like it's being taken away from them, but they're not getting any recognition. So let's talk about the first person, which is Edge.
Yes,
first
the
person
superstar.
So So, Edge won Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 21, April 3rd, 2005, held the Money in the Bank briefcase for 280 days, and cashed in at the New Year's Revolution, January of 2006, against John Cena. What you think about that?
Edge is iconic. Edge. I mean, I wouldn't say he's on my Mount Rushmore, but I mean,
wait, he's not on your Mount Rushmore?
Edge is not my Mount Rushmore now.
What? He's not even in your top 10?
Cena's not even on my Mount Rushmore.
What? I mean, like, Edge did a lot of historic things.
No, he did. He really did. And I'm not taking anything away from their career. It's just like when I book my Mount Rushmore, I just don't. Their faces just doesn't fit what I would want as my Mount Rushmore. But during this time, it was like Edge was their Stone Cold at that time. Cena was their Rock at that time. So it just worked. And the way Edge was during that time was phenomenal. Like his character at that time was just impeccable. Like I enjoyed this version of Edge more than I enjoyed any other versions of Edge. So this cash-in was definitely iconic.
And it was his first one at that. So let's go on to the next person. Rob Van Dam.
Mr. The whole effing show.
So Rob Van Dam won this at WrestleMania 22, April 2nd, 2006. Held it for 70 days. Cashed it in, and this is iconic because he won it at the ECW One Night Stand events. This was on June 11, 2006 against John Cena.
And they said if Cena wins, we riot.
And it was a hostile crowd. And I think this was in Philly, right?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely was. And those people think that AEW crowds are good. You think GCW crowds are the best. There's no crowds like the ECW. Faithful.
And it was nostalgic. That crowd was nostalgic, y'all. Like badass.
When he won this title, like I wish I was there. I guarantee you, if it was louder than what it was, that still could have collapsed. They lost their shit.
And this was the first time, y'all. Now, remind you, he was the ECW champion going into this event or whatever, and he was also Money in the Bank. So Rob Van Dam wasn't like one of the ones he was considered the underdog because like John Cena was the Mr. Superman, but he wasn't in the full effect Superman of the WWE like we now and know. Well, he's semi-retired, but whatever. But he was doing the, salute, Cena. But this is when fans really started to turn on John Cena.
Yeah.
But Rob Van Dam did win. He did cash in on Mr. Cena. He did. However, it only lasted for a week and a half. It didn't last that long.
I mean, sometimes, but sometimes to make a statement, you ain't gotta last that long.
No, but the thing about it is, once again, this has everything to do with politics in the back because Mr. Rob Van Dam was caught with weed, Mr. 420, but now it's accepted now because we're in a different era now. But
shout out to Matt Riddle.
Mr. 420. And, there's a lot of similarities between Mr. Rob Van Dam and Mr. Riddle, but we'll talk about that on a different note. But unfortunately, his reign did not last long because he was stripped of the WWE Championship and then lost the ECW Championship, I believe, to Big Show?
Yep.
Okay. Make sure I got that right. And matter of fact,
it was Big Show, and then it was Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley held it.
Yep. So let's go on to the next person, Mr. Kennedy. All right, so Mr. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 23, April 1st, 2007, held the briefcase for 36 days, and lost it to Edge.
Yep.
What do you think about this one? This has politics, backstage politics all over this.
It was dirty, but they said Edge is the ultimate opportunist, and he lived up to it. I mean, it was dirty. It was dirty. Again, another political thing in not just the WWE, in the wrestling world.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you give us a little backstory behind that? If not, then we can always just like move on.
I mean, it's like he say, she say. A lot of people really didn't like Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this a crap ton of politics, and he lost it. Like I said, on SmackDown. It was 2007.
What, for Edge?
No, Kenny lost this in 2007.
That is correct. He lost it. Yep, in 2000. Yep, he lost it that year. That same year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of he said, she said behind that. I mean,
and yes, he was injured as well. He failed a drug test, so that led to him losing the briefcase. Yes,
I mean, there's so much going on behind this, saying like doing a drug test. Back then, everybody was using, but they picked and choose who they wanted to test.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That's exactly right. So, speaking of Edge is the next person that won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Or matter of fact, this wasn't a traditional win. There was more so Mr. Kennedy put the briefcase on the line. He lost it to Edge. Edge got it. He won this on Raw, May 7, 2007. Held it for 4 days and cast it in on a SmackDown edition. And this was May 11, 2007. And he cashed it in against The Undertaker, the world champion at that time.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, let's just move on to the next person, Mr. CM Punk.
Oh, this one, because I mean, the man got enough publicity going on. I mean, we talked about it enough, and I feel like the more we show him, the more we're gonna get reminded of how. Oh man,
I know he's part of history. You do not want to talk about him, but let's talk about him anyway. He won this at WrestleMania 24, March 30th, 2008. Held it for 92 days. He cashed it in on Raw, June 30th, 2008. And he cashed it against Edge, that was the world champion at that time. He also won it back-to-back because the next year he won it at WrestleMania 25, April 5th, 2009. Held it for 63 days at Extreme Rules. He cast it in on June 7, 2009 against Jeff Hardy. That was the world champion at this time. Now, the storyline behind this was this is when they were talking about Jeff's DUIs, his alcohol addiction, which he is still having to this day. 10 years later, 15 years later, whatever you want to call it. No, not 15 years later, because this happened in 2009. So actually it's, I think, about 12 years later. They're still talking about the drug storyline or whatever. But yes, this was actually CM Punk's second title reign.
It had big goals. He had big goals.
Yep. And he was actually the first person in history at that time. No, he was actually tied with Edge because he was he was the first person to actually win back-to-back Money in the Bank. He was a Money in the Bank winner back-to-back. So let's move on to the next individual. Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I believe this was WrestleMania 27, one of the worst WrestleManias in history. He held it for he held it for 4 days. He casted in on SmackDown April 2nd, 2010, and he won against Chris Jericho, the world champion at that time, which note, Chris Jericho was actually injured at that time, and Drake Swagger actually won. What do you think about that?
Traditional stuff. I mean, like sometimes we just one thing about WWE, they always have a backup to a backup to a backup, and it's traditional. You know what I mean? Just to, I guess, protect the integrity, I guess, of the wrestler, and just until they can find the right person to build up. And at the time, Jack was We the People, right? That was We the People. Jack,
yep,
right?
Not yet.
Not
yet. It wasn't like We the People, not yet. Not at this time. This was like he had that weak gimmick as the American Patriot or some type of shit. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. But so Swagger was
yeah. This was a fail. I mean, this was an ultimate fail.
Well, I mean, that WrestleMania was a fail too, but
most definitely. Yes. Man, please.
We did have shows about WrestleMania.
Let's go on to the next person. Kane.
The Big Red Machine, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. What was it? In Tennessee? Knox. Trash. So Kane won the Money in the Bank briefcase July 18, 2010. He cast it in 49 minutes at the Money in the Bank event, and he cast it again against Rey Mysterio. That was the world champion at that time. What you think?
I don't like Rey, so it was like I was happy. I was like, Rey just in my eyes didn't fit the mold for a champion. Kind of like Daniel Bryan in my eyes still.
So was it because of his size, or was it you just didn't like him, period?
The size. When I see my world champion, I think of somebody that could actually go toe-to-toe with the big guys, but still could run with the smaller guys and still give a great match to guys his size. Just with Rey, it just like he wasn't a believable champion for me. Cruiserweight, yes. Intercontinental, yes. World champion,
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next person, Mr. Miz.
Yes, Mr. Miz.
Oh, I got a lot to say about this motherfucker. Okay, so Mr. Miz, he won this at Money in the Bank, July 18, 2010. Held it for 127 days. He cast it in on a Raw edition. This was November 2nd, November 22nd, 2010. And he won it against Randy Orton, which gave the birth of Miz Girl, Angry Miz Girl. What you think?
That girl was amazing. And I love the Miz. And this was, I think, was a good opportunity for him. But again, we always say that Miz's title runs work the best. But this was a good one. Because Miz's character, the case, it just worked.
All right. Let's go on to the next person. Mr. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan won the Money in the Bank briefcase. July 17, 2011. Held the briefcase for 154 days. He cast it in at the TLC events, December 18, 2011. And he cast it in against the Big Show. That was the world champion at that time.
Again, another small guy, like another guppy. Oh no, a Scooby Snack.
You don't disrespect him like that. Don't do that. Because Daniel Bryan was gold. He was gold. But I mean, okay, you know what? At that time, he wasn't the yes. I mean, this was like more so he was basic. He was dry. So, okay, that part I get, but he did get a little bit better, in the upcoming years, so. All right, let's go on to the next person. Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, I gotta go back. Okay. Alberto Del Rio.
Next.
He he won the Money in the Bank briefcase July 17, 2011, held it for 18 days. 28 days, and he won it cast in at the SummerSlam event August 14, 2011 against CM Punk, and this was for the undisputed WWE Championship at that time when CM Punk went against John Cena at the SummerSlam event. All right, and you say you want to go next?
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about this guy. Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph motherfucking Ziggler won the money.
This guy.
Wait. Let me get it out. He won it at the Money in Bank event July 15, 2012. Held the briefcase for 267 days. Cast it in after the WrestleMania Raw, April 8, 2013. And he won it against Alberto Del Rio. That was the world champion at that time. Talk about it.
All right, so going down to Dolph Ziggler, I feel like another guy who's definitely doesn't get enough flowers. But yes, this was big. This is a big break for him. This definitely pushed him in the right direction. And then he got lost in the shuffle. But definitely a guy well deserved.
Did he also have a concussion too?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Yeah, so that also played a role, y'all. And then the next one was Mr. Golden Boy himself, John Cena. He won the Money in Bank briefcase at July 15, 2012. Held it for 8 days. Cast it in on Raw. On Raw. July 23rd, 2012. And it was a failed job. Failed cash in against the Big Show.
That was the first fail, right?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
All right, let's go on to the next person, Damien Sandow. He won this at the Money in Bank event, July 14, 2013. Held it for 106 days, and he tried to cash in on Raw, October 28, 2013. This was another failed attempt against John Cena.
Yes, I like the failed attempts because, it makes it seem like, hey, not everybody gets the strap. So I liked it. I like the failed attempts, and I like Cena's failed attempt more because he was such a big name. And to show for him to lose that way shows that Superman did have a weakness. It was a crack in his armor, and there it is. He's still human. But this one right here, I feel like another transitional thing. Mm-hmm. But he was such a great wrestler and a great character.
All right, and finally, we have number 15, which is Randy Orton. He won the Money in Bank briefcase July 14, 2013. Held the briefcase for 35 days. Cashed it in at SummerSlam 18, August 18, 2013. And he won this against Daniel Bryan, which this started the Authority storyline.
Yes.
And this lasted all the way to WrestleMania 30. That was historic WrestleMania 30. That was the event when Undertaker lost against Brock Lesnar. So yes.
That WrestleMania was awesome, and I love Randy. Hearing the news about him in the streets is really hurts. I want him back. I think he needs to finish on a strong note, not go out like everybody else. Oh yeah, I have injury and to come back like a Goldberg. But Randy, man, that Mania was
historic,
a emotional roller coaster.
Very much so. So everybody, we hope you enjoyed the part one. Part two is going to be more detailed. So Trust me when I tell you, but we enjoyed doing part one for you guys. So when did you want to do part two?
We can run it tonight.
we'll be back later on tonight. We'll let you guys know when we'll be doing part 2. Until that time, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we're out.
Enjoy SmackDown tonight. And guys, this is a little bit different for us. Give you guys some extra stuff to watch and some history stuff, because there's a lot of new fans that are coming out, and old and really young. So this is great. This is fun for us too, because we can go back and give our takes on it and our So thank you guys. Thank you.
Yes. So we'll see you guys later on tonight, and be well. Bye, y'all.
Later.